Hi guys, and welcome to this mid and high time frame update on Bitcoin. The past few weeks I've been getting insane amounts of requests. If I please wanted to give you guys an update on my high and mid time frame plan on Bitcoin. So I was saving this video for today since I think today is a good day to make a video about this topic, since we saw some kind of a fake pump over here due to some fake ETF news. Now, a lot of people are wondering what will happen when the ETF gets announced. What will happen if a war starts? What will happen if this? What will happen if that? Guys, look at the chart, try to see what the chart is trying to tell you and go from there. Try to block out all of the noise and try to trade what the chart is trying to tell us. And that is exactly what I've been doing over the past two and a half years since I started making videos, since I started my own community. And on the higher time frame, I'm not gonna lie, there aren't a lot of people out there that have been nailing the high time frame moves like I have been doing this past bear market. Now, for now guys, what's the plan? Where do we want to accumulate? Where do we want to sell? In my opinion, there are two potential scenarios possible. The first thing that we have to notice is that Bitcoin is currently trading inside this range over here. This is the range that Bitcoin is currently trading in. We have a very clear range with multiple pivots, pivot 1, pivot 2. You can see this is our third pivot or this is our third pivot, okay? Very clean high time frame range, and that is something that we have to notice. Now, this high time frame range is taking place above this previous range that we have over here. We have another smaller range over here as well. Now, something that we have to take into account as well is the fact that we have the CME gap approximately aligning over here for the Bitcoin price. And this CME gap, in my opinion, will get filled sooner or later. Now, there's two different ways that the price can push towards the CME gap. And I personally strongly believe that the bottom will be formed somewhere around this CME gap or maybe a little below this sell side liquidity over here. So in my opinion, the bottom will be anywhere in between 22 towards $19,000. Okay, this is the area. If we do get another opportunity around this area, this is the area where you want to start accumulating your long-term bags, buy positions, spot positions for Bitcoin, altcoins, and so on. Okay, so that's the first question that's right now out of the way, because many people are wondering, where will the bottom be formed? I've been giving you guys this as our long-term bottom when we were trading over here. And right now I think there will be one more mid-term bottom that is going to be formed in the upcoming months before the proper bull run starts. And this is just my opinion. This is the way that I look at the charts, okay? Now, another thing that we have to realize is that we have some unleft buy-side liquidity above this high over here. So currently we are range bound. We have liquidity above this high. We have liquidity below this range low, and we have the drawn liquidity with that unfilled CME gap, and also with the sell side liquidity beneath the low over here. Now, in my opinion, there's two scenarios possible. Let's start with the first scenario, which still has my preference right now, okay? Which is that we are going to get a push outside of this range towards this buy side liquidity that I just marked out, okay? That's still my preferred scenario. What will happen is if we get a push outside of this range above this liquidity, around the liquidity pool, a lot of people will be calling for a breakout towards 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, maybe even new all-time highs. People get extremely bullish. But what people don't realize is that we don't only have this liquidity, but we also have the liquidity that has been building up above the local range high. So we are entering a huge liquidity pool in that case. Now, this liquidity pool can very well be used by smart money to unload their long and buy positions that they accumulated over here, that they accumulated over here, and that they potentially accumulated around the range low over here. They need those liquidity pools in order to unload their bags, in order to sell their positions. Now, they don't only have the liquidity that we have been building up because of this high and because of this range high, but also the fact that a lot of people look at that move at a potential breakout. That would mean that a lot of people are FOMO buying, are FOMO longing Bitcoin. Now, if people are buying and longing Bitcoin, smart money can also use that buy and long pressure in order to sell their own positions. Okay? Because if they want to sell, they need a lot of retail traders buying from them. So, in that case, we are potentially going to create a bearish PO3 in which we have our distribution, our accumulation range over here. Our manipulation range will be formed somewhere over here before we get our distribution / expansion phase to the downside, with our target being this CME gap and potentially even this sell-side liquidity beneath that low. Makes sense? I think that makes a lot of sense, right? So if we do get a push towards this area over here, I will be looking to sell most of my spot and buy positions and also potentially accumulate some massive swing shorts, targeting this distribution area over here towards that CME gap, towards that potential sell side liquidity. That's scenario number one. That's my preferred scenarios still. Now, on the other hand, could also be the case where we are going to get a move to the downside first, where we are going to get a breakdown of this range, in which we are going to move towards that area around 22 towards $20,000, in which we are going to retest the previous mid-range, in which we are going to retest the previous quarterly range. If I'm going to switch on the quarterly range over here, that quarterly range beautifully aligns with our CME gap, with this order block over here on the daily time frame as well, in which we are going to get a move to the downside first. Now, in that case, we are potentially going to create a bullish PO3 AMD pattern, in which we have our accumulation over here, manipulation over here, and then we get our expansion. And I think that expansion could be the start of a potential new bull run, because if we manage to get it manipulation area over here, this is the perfect opportunity for smart money to accumulate their bags, and maybe we do get some bearish news that leads to this move to the downside, and then maybe the ETF will reverse that move to the upside. Now, if we get a move to the upside first, that might be the ETF news, right? Causing that push to the upside. And that would cause even more people to get extremely bullish. Now, trust me, tops are being formed when people are euphoric. Tops are being formed when people are extremely bullish on the price. And if that ETF comes out, and if that pushes the price above the mid-range towards the liquidity pool, people will get euphoric. People will get extremely bullish. And that could be a perfect signal for a potential midterm top before that reversal. Then everyone gets extremely bearish. Oh my God, even after the ETF news, Bitcoin dumps towards $22,000. It's so over. We are so going to make new lows. Everyone panic sells, everyone panic shorts. That's where fear is the highest. That's where FOMO for smart money is also at its highest point. This is where smart money will start accumulating their bags before reversing the price back up and potentially starting a bull run. Two potential scenarios, two very clear potential ideas. It all comes down to the same place. I do believe at some point we are going to fill the CME gap. We might even take out this sell side liquidity as well before reversing the price back up. I strongly believe that this plan might play out, also because on the higher time frame I have been nailing the scenarios and the price action over the past few years pretty well, also during the bear market. So I do strongly believe in my capability of predicting such a move like this potentially. And I do strongly believe that both of the scenarios have a high probability of playing out. And I do think that you should try to block out the news events. You should try to block out all of the noise that revolves around Bitcoin. Try to look at the chart, and there's nothing as strong and clear as a high time frame chart, guys. A high time frame chart has 1,000 stories to tell, and it's up to you whether you are able and whether you are capable of figuring out what story it is currently trying to tell us. And the fact that we are ranging over here can mean two things: up first and then down, or down first and then up. Okay? Be very careful, trade the range until it breaks. Be alert, make sure to not let your emotions get the better of you once you get a breakout or breakdown. If you have any other view on Bitcoin, feel free to let me know. If you agree or disagree, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions after watching this video as well, also feel free to let me know. And then I'll see you guys on Friday's update video. Ciao, ciao.